everyone. So please welcome Roxanne Oates. Today, she is funnel strategist who helps online entrepreneur build a lead generation system that build quality leads so that they can focus on the part that their business they love. This is what we're here for, right? Thank you so much for joining me today, Roxanne.
No, thanks for having me.
What exactly funnel job like in this online world? What they do for? How they help the business?
Okay, so funnels are really good when you get to a stage in your business, right? A lot of times when we first start out, we're bootstrapping, we're trying to save money, we're trying to do everything ourselves. But when we kind of reach a certain point, we want to start automating things, right? We don't want to have to put so much time and effort to bring in leads to us. We want to just kind of sit back and have them come to us. So that's where funnels come in. Funnels is just like an automated process or system that you put people through so they can take whatever action you want. The most common funnels that people are familiar with and everyone wants to use is sales funnels, right? Which is great, but you can also use funnels for marketing to build a relationship with your prospects, because that's always important. No matter what type of funnel or whatever you're building, you need to have that audience that's there that wants to build that relationship, that know, like, and trust you, right? That's marketing 101. And funnels can help just build that relationship automatically.
Right. So actually funnel can be organic funnel, but like just help people like for the journey that what they will go through and also those software automation as well. Am I correct?
Yes, because even, yes, it definitely can have organic. So a funnel is just kind of like we said, the process, but you still need to send traffic to it. So you can do organic traffic or you can do paid traffic, right? It's just something you're offering to people. Hey, this is what I have. And it just helps to build that relationship even further.
Right. Yeah. I believe many people talking like funnel almost every day. So let us separate between marketing funnel and sales funnel. Because
Sure.
to my understanding, marketing funnel, their job is to lead to the sale funnel further. Just
That
that.
is correct. Yes. It's just kind of like different steps and layers. A lot of times people want to come out the gate and it's like, buy this, right? But it's like, when you go out on a date, do you go out and be like, come and marry me? Right? You don't do that. You still have to build upon that. Like if you have already built an audience, then it's going to be a little easier to send that audience to your funnel. But at some point, you're still going to have to build a relationship with a cold audience. And, you want to build that relationship. And that's where the marketing funnels can come in to lead to the sales funnel.
Yeah, so let's talk about building audience from the cold traffic. I know you post about this a lot in your Facebook group. I'm one of the member, by the way. So,
Thank you.
so yeah, I think it's very important to build the audience and really invest in like who actually you surrounded with in your market and how you're nurturing them. Do you have any tips on those who still at the audience building phase?
Yeah, so a very popular tip, something that I still use to this day is, you go to certain Facebook groups where your ideal audience is hanging out and check it out, right? Interact and engage with people. A lot of times we're so quick to be like, I need a sale, instead of just talking to people, just having some conversations. And it's not something that you have to do all day because we're all busy. We're business owners. We wear many hats. We have a lot of things to do. But no matter what, I still always take the time out to just message people, talk to people, find out what they really want, because then when you know what they want, you can build it for them and give it to them, and that just makes marketing a lot easier when you do that. So I like Facebook groups. Facebook groups are good for that because you get to see the interactions with different people, right? What's the most common thing that they're talking about surrounding whatever you're offering, right? Are people asking questions? Are they stating things? Just be observant and participate, and you can get a lot of information that way as well. If you
Yeah.
have an email list, I would definitely want to do a survey. That has really been a really good gold nugget. And don't think you have to have like all these people on your email list. You don't have to have a lot. It's just the quality of responses is going to you just need to get the data. That data just doesn't lie. And it's just easier to make informed marketing decisions when you have data to look at versus guessing and hoping that things are going to work.
100%. However, you mentioned about survey. You mean survey to the list that we already having or to the cold leads?
Oh, yes, survey to the list that we already have. I would not put a survey to the cold leads yet because
Mm.
this the cold leads, you just generally want to give them some type of content, something to show that you know what you're talking about and that you can help them. And really I think a lot of things part that people misunderstand when it comes to a cold audience is why are you the person that can help them? Do you understand where they're at right now and where they want to go? And if you can convey that in your marketing, people are going to be more attracted and drawn to you.
I remember now that the like beginning of the year, this year or last year, that you did some market research, and I'm very impressed the way you ask question. Like it's very hard to really find the expert, him or herself, doing the real market research like that in depth. And yeah, and when I answer your question, the filter question, it actually helps me to understand more about my business, not only to help you, helping my industry, right? And I
Mhm.
always impressed by that, just want to tell you that.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, like that's honestly, but that's my personal goal. Yes, I mean, I want to make money and all of that, but I really want to help people. Like, I want people to be able to focus on the parts of their business that they love. And I feel if people just come in with that attitude of, I just want to help you even uncover something, realize something, right? Get further, even if it's a step further, interacting with me, then I feel like I did my job.
Yeah, you always do. That's why we love you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's still talking about the marketing funnel. Once they want to start the marketing funnel, okay, they know why to generate the leads right now. Either paid ads or like from the organic from Facebook group or like LinkedIn, blah blah blah. So what do they need to have to build this marketing funnel to work?
So you're definitely going to need at least some type of a tool to build funnels like these pages. There's so many different tools out there, but I personally use ClickFunnels. I just love ClickFunnels because it's just easy to use and it makes it a lot easier to customize pages. I know there's a lot of different funnel softwares nowadays, and you really, when it comes to picking the best one, is based on your budget and what goals you want to achieve. But I just like ClickFunnels because you can just do a lot of customization with it, and it just gives you a lot of features that you can do right out the box, versus trying to figure it out or have a developer do that. It just makes it easier for that. So,
So each software automation, funnel builder software, they have the same job, is to create the page or like the funnel, right?
that's correct. So part of my thing is we build the funnels, we build the pages as well, and in my agency we also generate the traffic to the funnels as well.
Wow.
Another tool that I did not mention is some type of a CRM, right? Email marketing, so you can follow up with your leads as well. So those are the kind of like the three steps that you can say. You need traffic, you need like the funnel, which is what are you sending people to? What are you trying to get them to do, which can also build your Facebook pixel, and then follow up with email marketing.
Yeah, that's like everything already. So that's how you make money. And then go back to the start again, like keep them referring all over again. When they come to you, like, do you need to understand where the business is at the moment for your clients? Is
Oh,
that affect
absolutely.
anything about the way that funnel would work for them? Like, are there any phases of funnel? Can you recommend us on that?
Yeah, so as far as what they need to have in place is definitely important for me to understand where they are in the business and also like how their business operates, because I'm the type of person, I don't want to send you a whole bunch of leads and then your business breaks down. I mean, if you make changes after our agreement is done and then you get flooded, I can't help you there. But during our time, I always like to ask that because I want to make sure that you're able to handle it. So understanding the business is very important, and understanding their customers is even more important, and just trying to collect like some information on them, just trying to really understand their audience. Like I generally have like another survey that me and the client and I will go through and just really trying to dig like where do they shop? Where do they read? Where do they conferences they go to? And I know, we see the client avatars all the time. I know everyone's like, we've seen that, we know about it. But really, when it comes to especially paid advertising, you really need to know this stuff. Like, what things are they interested in? Because then that makes finding the audience on Facebook easier. So just really, really understanding really the customer's point of view and how they can benefit from the client's business is really the main focus that we focus on when it comes to marketing.
This is my own curiosity. How many clients, you can tell me by percentage, that they not really get clear on the customer when they comes to you?
So if they're not clear on their customer, I can't take them as a client
Oh,
because then it won't, my strategies won't work. So
yeah.
if they're clear on it, that's generally who, actually, those are only clients that I work with. If they're not clear on their
Mm.
audience, I can't produce the results that they're looking for because we're going to be spending a lot of time trying to figure that out. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider myself a business coach, and I feel like that's where a business coach would, help out with that, give them more information, help them to, dig deeper on that. And I'm still going to, try to dive in a little deeper. Just as a marketer, I need to know the people's psychology, what are they interested in, their demographics, but I can't help you figure that
Yeah.
out.
You know why I asking this? Because like this is somehow that they can outsource to you to become their like chief of marketing officer or something like that, right? Outsource as one department, like all yours to your agency. And some of the people that I have been talking with in my network or like my connection currently, they not really understand when they hiring an agency. They thought that agency will do everything for them, especially the documents that they don't have.
Not mine. I've been in business for a long time and I've learned a lot of things along the way, and that was definitely one of the things that I learned. I was like, I have to be really conscious on who I can and cannot help because, if I just take on everybody and I do everything, I just want to make it as easy as possible for me to give the clients the results they're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I think many people who like take client on board like very fast because they want to like close the sale and get to the numbers. They not really think about the standardize their process and the result that they give and also the customer retention, right? Which I think that's very important. What do you think?
I think it's very important. And, even on the opposite side as an agency, it's just going to be hard. Like, if you're always doing a bunch of different things for a bunch of different people, that just sounds really exhausting. And, you have to, it's hard to manage that. It's like and you have to have a lot of different types of help and different specialties. Like my agency, we focus on Facebook ads, we focus on building the funnels, having the email as follow up, and using Facebook ads. That's all we do. We don't do anything else besides that. So that way we can know exactly what we need to do and how we need to do it.
That's very specific and that's how it works out, right? Because you can control things within your agency. I agree with you. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm still very like impressed when someone say that, okay, I decide to hiring this agency over this one because they will do everything for me. I'm like, okay, you don't even check like how they do it for you.
Yeah, or even if they even have the capacity. I mean, there are certain definitely big time agencies that are full stack marketing agencies. They'll do everything and that's great. Some people are able to do that, but I like to look at mine as a boutique
Mm.
agency. We just have a specialty. There's one thing that we focus on and that's all we do. We don't do anything else. So I think that just helps to provide clarity for myself and for them and for my team as well.
I totally agree and I really support that idea because if you don't have like if you don't want to build a corporation like the big business, no need to, right? Have a boutique team and then support you along the way. You already get wins and that's how you live and help others. That's my philosophy, by the way.
Yeah, that's a really good philosophy because I think it's good. Like that's how it's just been working out for me, and I'm just gonna keep it like that because I mean, I like I said, I've been in business for a while. I definitely had a season where I just took on any client and just took whatever, and you know, but then you just, those are life lessons that you just have to learn, and it helps you to become better in the long run.
So this is another problem that I find in like many agency when you get many clients at the same time. So do you have like limit numbers per month take in or something like that for the agency capacity?
I do. My cap is at 5 per month. I
Mm-hmm.
don't go more than that. And
Wow.
if there is more than that, then there needs to be like, the next following month or something like that, even a wait list or something of that nature, just because, again, I don't want, I don't believe in taking a lot of stuff and having my back end fall apart. That's just not something I believe. I actually had a very popular sales coach in our industry was like, "Oh, just flood your team. Just bring all these people in and close as many sales as possible." And that just didn't sit right with me because at the end of the day, if my team cannot handle the load, then I have to step in and do it.
Mm.
And that takes away from my family, from other growing my business. It just takes me away from that. And that's why I'm just like, that just didn't feel comfortable with me. That did not sit right. And that's not what I'm going to do. I want to make sure my team can handle it. We got it like really, really good, really, really systematized. And then if we have more space to grow, then sure, we can change that number. But right now, that's the cap. That's what I have just so we can provide the detailed attention that each client needs.
Yeah. So in case no one's know Roseanne, I mean like she's very detailed person and I'm still impressed. I mean the way she asks question, the way she communicate with you at the very first time, I'm very impressed. I mean it's very
Thank you.
caring and really want to know how can she help me at that time. So yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, because I'm glad that comes across because that's really my intention. Like if things happen to work together or anything later, that's great. But if not, and you're able to get something that can help you in your business, then I'm happy. I felt like my job was done.
Yeah. So right now it seems like anyone who watching this and want to work with Roseanne might have to be on the waiting list, right?
We may not. Actually, we're in July, so we
All
actually have
right.
a couple of spaces. So it actually, if they want to work, I'll definitely have a conversation for sure.
Right. So let's move from marketing perspective to sales
Okay.
perspective. So
Okay.
how do you frame the funnel differently between marketing part and sales part?
Okay, so for the marketing part, right, we're trying to build the relationship. We're trying to kind of build that authority, showing that we're the expert, we know what we're talking about, right? We have proof of what we're doing and that we're not just newbies in this area, whatever that area is. Sales now is more, okay, you've already had some type of relationship with me. You've already we've built on that like, know, and trust. So for the sales funnel, it's generally what that is, still trying to use the customer relationship and customer language, but it's buy this or book a call or something, right? Because generally with your marketing funnel, you want to have your marketing set up where they're still kind of like, well, what's next? I want more. And that's where the sales funnel can comes in. Hey, here's more, right? I've given you this stuff for free. I've built this relationship with you. Now, if you want to take it to another level, if you want something else, then that's where the sales part or book appointment, because those are the two really primary call to actions that I have with coaches. It's either like buy, a course or something like that, or get on my calendar.
So let's say what are the top mistakes that you find in the general of like funnel that you have seen in the marketing world currently? What are the things that we should like be conscious about before we make any funnel?
So my theory, I say messaging and your targeting equals success because I really think that's important. If you do not have the right message to the right people, like if you have the wrong message to the right people, it's not going to happen. If you have the right message, but it's to the wrong people, nothing's going to happen. So you have to make sure they're both in sync with each other, that your messaging and your messaging is fitting your ideal audience where they're at right now. I think that's really, really important. And that's kind of like the foundation of just any type of marketing. It's not even just for funnels, it's for anything that you're doing, organic or paid. You just really need to make sure that those two things are in place, your messaging and your targeting. As far as a third thing that people, I would say if you're going to hire someone to do it, definitely ask questions. All right, ask for proof. Um, and be willing and be open and be collaborative, because sometimes, I try to tell a client, hey, we need to, I recommend to do this so we can try to get more, get better returns or whatever the case is. And if you're not being open to doing it and you just want to shut it down and want to do it your way, then you should have done it yourself the whole time versus hiring someone, right? Someone who does this like every single day to help you with your funnel. So that's what I would say.
Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, yes, I definitely have. Where the clients are like, oh, but I don't want to do this. I want to do that. And then it's like, well, I really, really wish we could do this because this is going to see a better return, but they don't want to do that part. They want to do something else. And we try to do it and then it doesn't work out the same. And you don't want to be like, I told you so, but at the same time, you want to be like, you're just trying to really stand firm, because like I said, I'm very caring and I want what's best for the business, and I don't want to be too overbearing, but I also need the clients to understand that this is what I do every single day, and I need you to trust me and I need you to follow what I'm telling you to do, and we
Yeah,
need to work together.
that's very important. I mean, for anyone who listening right now and thinking about outsourcing, if you outsource to the expert that like doing that job as their expertise as an agency or like any expert in the industry, you have to trust them and they really know what they do because they do it every single day.
Every single day. I'm always looking at either ads or funnels and how to improve conversion rates. Like every day, it's those things. So
Take in, take out, like all the time.
open rates, click through rates, like all kinds of stuff. That's just what I'm looking at every single day.
Yeah, and that is the reason why they made decision to hiring the expert at the first place, isn't it? Because they couldn't do it themselves as fast or like as familiar as the expert that have been tracking for a long time.
Well, sometimes too, I think what people think is kind of what you were saying before is I'm going to hire an agency and they're going to do what I tell them to
Mm.
do, instead of we're going to work together to figure this out and to get this done. So I think that kind of comes back to that.
I also discovered actually many people in the market that their offer have been validated already. Doesn't mean that they really know their audience.
Exactly.
Somehow surprised me though, like thinking reversely. So sometimes it makes me not sure that the sales that happening by luck or like they not really track how this rhythm happening along the way. You know what I mean? And that's very hard to duplicate. Like for system person like me, I want to duplicate what works.
Exactly.
So if we couldn't separate at the part that is working and not working, that is very hard for me for my job.
It does. Something else that you kind of make me think about that I want to touch on that I don't think a lot of people or marketers from what I've seen so far have talked about is just like looking at the data and the stats and making
Mm.
informed decisions on that. I think like for me that's super critical because if I don't have data, then it's like I have to, I'll go out there and we'll find the data. Like I need data to decide what to do and what's working, what's not working. And even it just kind of going back to what you're saying about the audiences, like, yeah, like I've had that actually happens very often that they have like they know their audience. It may not be to the full extent,
In
but when we
general, they know
do,
like in general.
yeah, they know the stuff in general. And then when I come in and we dig a little deeper, they're like, oh, wow. Like they find out more stuff that they didn't even understand or even know before. Like, for instance, I had one client, he's a health coach. We did a survey to his list to try to figure out what are we going to offer people in the first place. And it came out that the number one thing they wanted actually was one-on-one coaching with him. And then the second thing they wanted was like a meal plan. So we build a funnel based on what they wanted, and it was a hit, right? So that's why it's just really important to discover that, because he would have never known. He had all this different content that he can use, and we just asked the people, what do you want? If you had a list of all of this stuff, what do you want? Which one would you want to start off with first? And it was a hit. So I just feel like that's just really, don't feel like you have to know them like really, really deep, but just be open to exploring and learning more about your audience, because your audience will always develop and will change. It's not going to be, oh, I know them right now and it's going to be the same in years. It can change and evolve over time as well. So just be open to it and don't feel like stress and pressure, like I have to know every detail about them, but know good enough, like, if you do sales calls, what are some objections you hear often? Or what are your, how often are you able to close people on calls, right? Or if you already have a sales page, like what's your audience? Just trying to understand where they are and just be open to learning more about them.
Yeah, that's very important because numbers don't lie, except you
Numbers don't
calculate
lie.
wrong.
Exactly. Numbers don't lie. They don't have emotions. They don't have feelings, right? They're not hoping. It's just, this is the number, and what are you going to do with it based on that? And that's usually the first part that I go to when someone's like, yeah, my funnel's kind of like, it's not working the way I want it to work. So it's like, all right, well, let's look at the data, because the data will tell you whether it's the ads, whether there's a landing page, whether there's a follow up. It's going to tell you where the breakdown is happening.
So since you mentioned that people like business owner or entrepreneur comes to you when they have roughly two things, never have funnel before or already have funnel but it's broken. Am I correct?
Yes.
Ah,
Those are the two things. They either have one and it's broken, so they need to fix it or how to optimize it, or they don't have one at all, but they know they need that to get to the next level because organic marketing is just too exhausting for them.
right. And which one do you think easier to like get to the next level for them? The one that like not really working as they wish or like from scratch in your perspective?
That's a really good question. I know for me, I have seen the best success when I'm doing it from scratch,
Mm,
because then I'm in control of the whole process. And I
mm,
know, if I'm just tweaking something and try to modify it, and I just find it's not the same
mm,
versus let me just come in and let me just build this whole thing for you.
mm.
Because then I know the messaging flows throughout the whole entire process. It's not like we have one messaging with the ad and then the funnel doesn't really match and then the email's off. It's just everything flows. It's like I look at it as one giant story that we're sharing people and getting them to go from each step.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean because the other day I was talking to a friend of mine and talking that hey, when you start gonna do funnel or anything, there have to be backup things follow up like chatbot if you want to direct people to chatbot and subscribe to chatbot as well. Email sequence have to be there and everything have to be aligned. Like if
Yes.
something off, the machine is not really working well, and then we have to find out which part is broken again.
That's correct. Yeah, whether, yeah, like you said, email or chat bots, whatever your follow-up, messages, or even the combination of the both, just your whole messaging just needs to be like the same. It doesn't just need to feel different or discombobulated. It just needs to feel like, what is the next step that makes the most sense for the person who's looking at it?
Yeah, I know what you mean because that's something that I learned the hard way. Like, because English is not my first language, I have to accept that. So whenever I write something, I don't get that cohesiveness at all. I always get that comment. So I know what you mean. Like every paragraph had to lead to the next paragraph. Yeah, and that's very
Yeah.
true. But it takes practice though to make that happen.
It definitely does. I mean, like now I have a copywriter on him, but even still, like I still look at it. I mean, when I started out, I wrote all the copy, and and for me, it's a lot of energy for me to write, because I'm old school, right? I'm old enough to catch on. Well, I'm old enough to know how life was like before technology, but I'm young enough to catch on to it really quick. So with that being
Like,
said, With that being said, though, like I literally, when I'm writing copy, even to this day, I have to write it down on a pen and paper first.
Okay.
So I can do my ugly scratch outs and man, that doesn't flow and do this. Like it takes time and energy. And then I go in and clean it and then I put it online to be used. So, don't feel like some people are blessed with that. Like my copyright, I feel like she's really blessed with that. She has a way with words and she can just like bang it out and make it pretty good. And for me, it's not the same. I'm not the same way. And I understand that and I acknowledge it, and that's okay. So if someone's out there listening and they're like, I don't really do that great with copy, it's like use whatever technique works for you. Don't be afraid to just have a super ugly version and write out all your thoughts and things that you want to say and then come back to it later, right? Don't feel like you have to get it all out at once. Come back to it. Keep coming back to it. Keep changing it until you feel like, wow, this story flows and this makes sense. And also ask people that you know in your network that you can trust, hey, what do
Hmm.
you feel about this, right? This is what I have. What are your thoughts? And just leave it like that, right? And see what they have to say. Like, oh, that makes sense, or that doesn't really make sense, right? Be sure to ask people for feedback as well.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. I mean, many things today we talking are like very essential in the funnel and automation world. Here's another thing. Sometimes I think we overcomplicated things in terms of automation side. Like, do we need to do that? Do we need to do this? And then when the person who see things as like the system and operation, right? When I tell them that, oh, we're still missing this puzzle, we need to add this on. I got the objective like we're not doing any experiment right here. In your own terms, like about automation side, like for sales process and marketing process, do you think that like we can automate everything, or there's still like need some human touch to like flow the whole process that makes more human and also build actually the real relationship for the long-term potential?
I actually like a mix of it. I think we can have automation, but we can also have people to, touch points. Like, so for instance, let's say if someone's booking a call, so we can probably have the automated parts to book a call, but at the end of the day, they have to connect with you and get on a call with you, right? And learn more about you, and they have to be prepared for the call. So that marketing part did that hard work of filtering the people and getting them prepped for the call. But let's say if there's like a course or something where you have a sales page, well, maybe that's where video comes in so that it's not necessary. It's not going to be like you and I are talking, but at least you get to see my art. You get to kind of feel my energy and see like, hear what I have to say, see if, if I'm even someone you would even want to connect with. And you may even be interested with, and am I sharing content that you find that's ideal? So I'm all for a combination of both, even in like, let's say your follow up an email, like a lot of times what I like to do sometimes too is like with email is like, hey, hit reply if you like something, because I personally read all my emails. I want to make sure that if someone's taking the time to email me, that I'm sending a personalized response to them, right? That's just what I want to do. So yeah, I just think that having the combination of the both is good. And even like in many chat, like I know, to be able to actually, you can have them subscribe to your bot, but you can still just kind of build that relationship and talk to them as well. So like I said, I guess the short answer is I like to use the both as a combination, but the biggest thing for me to determine that is going to be the plan. Like we definitely have to plan it all out before we do anything. A lot of people that I talk to are like, okay, let's go. We're going to get started. And it's like, okay, that's great. But wait, we need to have this plan laid out. We need to know exactly what we're going to do and when, so we can know that we can hit that project date. If we don't have a plan, we're just going to be like, all over the
All over the
place. And
place.
I can't work like that. I
Yeah.
cannot be efficient that way. I need to know who's doing what and when so we can make sure we hit that deadline.
And we will not overlapping the work and don't double work things. That's very important. Like don't waste time on that. I agree. I mean, I totally agree. And strategy came before any tactics, right? Because the shortcut is
Yes,
the straight line, and to trust the process. That's like proven many times in 100,000 years. Like it's always like that. So
exactly.
Yeah. When we talking like this, like the checkpoint or the milestone, it seems easy for the listener when they see the journey outside, but they don't know how many components within each check spot. So I think it's also about the perspective and the explanation of like each side, who you are talking with, who I am talking with in general. When you talk to the expert in the industry in this certain area, they might think it's easy, right? But then the customer will say like, oh, this is over me already. But we have to convince them. That's why you have to hiring me as the expert to handle that for you.
Exactly. That's right. Like that's my job. This is my job. This is what I do. And this is why you're having me to help you with that.
Sweet. In case anyone want to work with you, Roseanne, how can they reach out to you then?
Yeah, you can go to roxanneoates.com/client attraction. And that's a blueprint that I have. It just shows you the foundational pieces that you need in order to attract your ideal clients online. It's called the Online Client Attraction Blueprint. So you can definitely do that. You can check me out there. If you want to go to my site, roxanneoates.com, and just get on my calendar. If you even just want to email me, hello@roxanneoates.com, that's fine too. Like I said, I check my emails and I actually respond to them. So feel free to do that as well. Those are the ways you can reach out to me.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was fun. I really enjoyed this.
Hey, thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed the show, you can subscribe here or here. And this is the previous episode. Check it out. See you next time.